ik heb mijn vlucht nog niet geboekt, maar dat moet ik binnenkort doen. En dan weet ik welke dagen ben ik weg. Maar de 16e is een zaterdag, dus het komt waarschijnlijk in het midden van december.
Oké. So even zien de recording. It's on recording. So welcome to the debriefing of the RChain member meeting, and we are only two at the moment. It's Kit Blake and me, so it's quite cozy. So there's some updates to mention. Where was my stuff? Just a minute. There's a website translation going on, and I was wondering how far it is in fact, because the Chinese website is under construction, and I was wondering if there was some relations with Branco, who does the website in English. So that's one item. And I was on the QQ International chat, and a lot of people asking what the timeline is for the development of RChain. So what I think the only thing available is the spreadsheet with work items, but from this you cannot exactly see what is going on the development side. So I'm going to ask in the debriefing of Greg if you can have a better timeline, and maybe Meta can provide it. So, and there's one more thing, the Google Groups, I'm using it more and more for restricting access to the RChain folder. And I'm hoping that everybody is getting on Google Groups of RChain. So, and I can monitor it quite well, because when somebody wants access to a file or so, then I write in, are you a Discord member? And if so, then he can be added to the Google group. So that's the procedure at the moment. So, yeah, and then yesterday there was a board meeting. It was quite interesting to see the 9 board members there. And I think Greg will give an update about it. So I won't say anything about it until now. So, yeah, so, we have another, Kenny Rowe is also joining. That's good. Hey. Hi, Kenny. It's a quite cozy meeting tonight.
Okay, great.
We have only 3 people, so you and Kit Blake and me.
All right. Okay. How's it going?
Well, we were just, I wanted to give the word to Kit if he has some updates.
Sure.
So, Kit, go ahead.
Well, the one update I have is it's going good with the Telegram groups. The RChain group is growing and growing. I posted, I think on Monday, that we were up to 75 members, and we're now pushing 100. And the guy in Singapore, Mervyn, is really doing great work, and he's been pushing it among Chinese-speaking people, both in Singapore and in Greater China itself. So a lot of people who are coming on board are actually Chinese. And we know from the Chinese chat groups that there's a lot of interest in, well, the Chinese speaking world in RChain, which is really cool. It's really good. That's a huge mass market, and if they start to believe in RChain, then we're on a good road. And we have 2 Telegram groups set up. One of them is an open community group, RChain Co-op, and that's the one that's growing. And we also have what Telegram calls a channel, not a group, which is for broadcast, and that one is called RChain Co-op Official Announcements. And so when there's something of note, like that Medium post that Patrick published after the members meeting, then we send a link to that to the announcements channel, and anybody subscribed hears about it, but it's not for chat. They can't reply. And it's also nicely protected. The admins' names don't appear. So if I post it, it's not like someone can come back to me and start asking tricky questions or something. Which has been, and this is the next point, which has been a bit of a problem in the public chat. People come on there and they ask questions, and they're kind of expecting official answers, in the sense that it's an official answer from the RChain Co-op. And we finally ended up adding a paragraph to the rules that explains that the admins of the chat are not official representatives of RChain. They're community members with their own opinions and interpretations, but it's not like you can get an official answer to a question about, when will staking tokens be put into play or something like that. So that's something, a bit delicate, but I think we've more or less figured it out. And when somebody joins the channel, there's a pinned message, which right now is kind of a FAQ. It's a link to all the other resources. And it also includes the rules for the channel. And the rules for the channel are important because Telegram can get kind of wild, wild west. And if it goes, then at some point we're going to have jerks in the channel, and we're going to have to ban them, and scammers and everything else. But that's the game. That's the game you play in Telegram. So we're trying to get all those things set up in advance before we really make the channel public. And by make it public, I mean before we announce it on Twitter and Facebook and put it in the FAQ and everything. Right now, it's in what I've called the friends and family phase. So it's open. If you have friends, you can invite them, and we want it to kind of grow slowly and organically, but that also gives us time to get the infrastructure, the management infrastructure set up, and get the admins acquainted with it. So if it does suddenly get noisy and ugly, then we're prepared. It's not like we have to scramble to get things set up or something. So that's going really well. And the Mervin, is that Mervin? I can't read Chinese. But whoever it is, it's a nice collaboration. Let me round it off that way.
Cool.
Yeah, I can show you the QQ International, if that's visible. No, probably not. But
cool. With logo.
Do you see something? No, not really. Okay. But anyway, we have somebody from China in the group, and maybe I would like to give the word to him, her, to talk about things in China.
Only if you want to, yeah? We can chat too.
I see QQ, okay. Maybe you can say just something. Just hello is enough.
Okay, well, we should talk a bit slower and clearly.
Hello, China.
Okay, we'll go on.
Okay, so Jim is also joining. So, Kenny, do you think it's possible that we give a small update about the board meeting of yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll also have, so we had a board meeting yesterday to kind of go over a few things. We had some outstanding items to clear through, as well as to kind of add some additional clarity around interpretation from the members' vote. So that all went really well. We had some good discussions. We also came to some more detail, which will be coming out pretty soon in the meeting minutes. Let's see. I think the overall, let's see, what was HJ, do you remember what the other topics were besides the resolutions that we discussed? I think it was maybe just like giving authorizing Greg and Lisa to start managing exchange accounts. I think there was maybe one other thing that we had discussed. It's hard to remember.
Yeah, so there was also a big discussion about the rock on exchange and which rock price we should use. So,
right. Yeah. And I think mostly what we kind of came to a decision of would be to start using or to continue using for a while the current price that we're using, which was the private sale at 20 cents. And then we would, if there was a major exchange that came online, then we would reevaluate with the compensation committee. But regardless, the compensation committee would come back in some period of time, most likely 6 months, and recommend some other kind of solution, which could be something like a volume weighted average around market prices and private sale prices to get an idea. And this would be mostly for just contractors. That would so invoices could be denominated in or they would have some conversion mechanism between fiat currencies. That's the point there. But no contracts are being renegotiated or anything like that. This is all just moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then we talked about the resolutions, and when there was explanation needed, then it was done. And we now have a clear view of what it all means for the code and the members. But I think Greg will talk about in his debriefing, so I will leave it up to him. Is there any other news, Kenny?
Let me think here. So, not that I'm particularly aware, but there is the we'll probably get an update later this afternoon from the retreat that's happening right now. So all of the core developers are in Utah at a development retreat, and I think they've probably been making some pretty great progress towards defining goals and probably even just doing some collaboration that they couldn't get done over either meetings or otherwise. So I'm excited to hear what's going on over there in Utah, and we probably will hear about that later.
Okay, wonderful. So I see also Jake is online. Do you have any news?
No news here.
Okay, that's pretty short. Then I head over to Jim.
Oh, well, which of the million projects that I'm working on do I need to start with here? No, I don't have much. This is the sheet that Patrick made of all of the aspects or stakeholder groups that we have that form the RChain community or the organization, starting with the board of directors, 3 committees, marketing, community development, human relations, operations, finance, legal, technology, and then we start the projects, which starts with the RChain development projects itself, the Rolang, the RoVM, Found Layer, Storage, Casper, and the front end, the holdings company, and Lively Gig, Rock Exchange, which is not an official project yet, but for the Rock Exchange on an internal marketplace development, the RChain Identity, which is the single sign-on for the co-op membership into our tools, and a self-sovereign identity targeted for RChain Identity. And that's related with the social ledger, which is also targeted for RChain. And there's currently some activity in HoloChain for programming HoloChain in Rolang is one long-term objective, and there's some parallels there. We have DiviDAO and Pyrofax, and maybe some other projects. And I'm trying to get a whole view of the whole RChain ecosystem here. If you could fill in your activities into the sheet, that would be great, and help complete the list here, for example, for the executive committee. And I guess do we have a governance committee meeting? I gotta keep these straight when the meeting is. And the other community activities. Oh, I didn't share my screen, did I?
No.
Well, let me put the link in here. I don't know why I do that. But this is the sheet, the committees, the departments of the cooperative, so to speak, the projects that are part of the RChain, and the related projects or the coordinated projects that we're working on. I put Pyrofax in here. I'm not sure where they belong, really. And we're working on the identity project on a number of fronts. One of them is the Know Yourself ebook, it's called, which is being developed, and a potential, I don't know where Patrick is, but looking at a potential conference in the Tampa area next year sometime, which could be would be related. And we're meeting on Thursdays on the Know Your Identity project, which I guess Patrick and Planning are leading on now. And I'm working on a identity and social ledger paper with Big Life, who will also partner in this Know Yourself, Own Yourself ebook. and what else? You know, working on interconnecting Telegram channel to Mattermost and Discord. I ran into authentication problem there, so I don't know. You need some help to get that going. That's it for now.
Okay, so that's an awful lot, Jim. So I know that you have your plate full of work and that you appear everywhere on the screen. What shall we? In the beginning, I mentioned the translation item, and I suggested to the Chinese, to Mervyn, to start with the website, but that needs some collaboration with Branko, who's doing the website for the English version. And finally, it would be nice if you could just press a button on the website and then you have your own language. So I hope they will coordinate themselves, but maybe it needs some steering. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, I think the website would probably be the most public facing version or content that we have that would be good for translation, and then probably the second would be any of the white paper.
Yeah.
Any of those or the most helpful documents that people would also want to look through. In terms of guidance, I'd say, you know, I've never led a project for translation of a website before, other than just with either agencies or something like that. But yeah, I guess we could kind of break it up into chunks or by pages, see what the most important stuff is, and try to work out a timeline, work backwards.
Yes. Yeah, as far as I know, we could make a spreadsheet with regular items and for the menu and so, and translate that in each language. And Branko has his website set up like that it allows for different languages. So all the text that has to be converted, we put them into a spreadsheet, and then he can put it into a kind of database, I guess. And then you have your translation of the website with the same look and feel ready.
Well, that's good.
So,
can he export the text, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. But I think somebody who is doing the translation has to go into it. And we have quite some experienced people. Also, somebody who wants to translate the white paper into French. And he has done that for the Ethereum project, for example. And yeah, we have to see. It would be great if they get moving, because they are the nearest to the task, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is the Google group. I would like to use it for restricting access to the Google Drive and folders and files. And for this, I need to coordinate with Navneet to get, because there are two registrations at the moment. So one was going through the private sale, that's the official one. And the other one is mine for getting information from people for joining the GitHub work itself. So this has to be integrated, and it would be nice if all those people go into the same Google group, and then we can restrict access. And it gives the advantage if somebody is working on a document or so, it's not like an anonymous person, but people have to log in. So you can see who did things.
Yeah, since the private sale, I haven't been maintaining the Google Group membership. I haven't, since I don't have emails for the new members.
Yeah. So we have to streamline this kind of process, and well,
yeah, we have a back. I think there's a backlog unless someone else is entering members. That Google Group permission would be very useful if we got everybody in there.
Yeah, and this can also be true for the committees that have been set up. They can have their own Google Group, and then when there's information what's not for the public eye can be shared in a folder, and only the group has access. So, and when it's publicable, then you can relieve those restrictions. Does it seem a good idea to use Google Group for restricting file access?
Yeah, I think HJ, that could be a good short term or potentially long term. Hard to say exactly. But I also think we should, I'm going to look into other options for file collaboration and storage, either via the Google G Suite domain or potentially some other enterprise solution. Not sure what I'll come up with, but I'll let you know as soon as I have some more information about that.
Shall we create an issue for that so that we can have?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can keep track of it, and then I can post updates there.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Well, I think it's going to be a short meeting, in fact, because I don't have a lot of updates.
Actually, hang on a second, because people are trying to join, but they're saying that the link isn't working. Like Patrick, I would like to get an update from him if he can get on.
Okay.
So I just sent him the number of the meeting that I see in the window there, and let's see if that works. But the link that was posted in Discord is giving errors or something.
Yeah, that link is a link for host login. That happened once before. I posted the right link in the co-op channel where Gary was having a problem there, but apparently he's in now.
Okay, Jim, can you post that link in the chat so I can have a look at it? Yeah. So, okay, let me check this out. Maybe Gary can, in the meantime, do his update.
Well, I'm still excited about the social ledger project on Mattermost, and getting the Telegram site up. I've been able to join that, and also been spending some time on the Dig Life project of implementing the social ledger on RChain. I'm going to turn one of my monitors off. They're not synced up.
Yeah, those are down the road a bit. Right now, we need PHP programmers to interface the social ledger with Discord. Is that your update, Gary? Are you there?
Yes, that's about all I had. I was just interested in getting the Zoom link working and was wondering why it wasn't working. So I'm glad I'm here now, but I don't have a lot to add other than we would like to see a mapping of the spreadsheet that Jim shared into the Mattermost version of the governance platform or the governance domain on Mattermost.
Yeah, it'll be cool to be able to navigate the holonic structure of the cooperative and the activities that they are going on in the cooperative.
That's all I have, HJ.
Okay. There's some interesting questions of, I think it's Mervin, who is with the Chinese characters. But it's what are board members supposed to do? Well, in the meeting, I gave my opinion about the subjects that passed, and I can also introduce subjects from the community into the board meeting. And the board meeting, well, I don't think we will gather a lot of times per year, maybe 2 or 3 times, that would be maximum, I think. And the board is only for general guidance of the whole corporation. So that's about my tasks. How do you see that, Kenny, being a board member?
Yeah, so the cooperative is a legal structure. So the board has legal obligation or fiduciary obligation to the members, which means any member of the board is responsible for good governance for operations, finances, all those kind of things, at least from a legal perspective. And the cooperative is owned by the members. They control it through a members vote, which we have once a year, but the board is really there to exercise the will of the members, and they do that through a legal framework and standing. So but HJ is right. We don't have frequent meetings, but when we do, they're usually very specific about issues that either need to be taken care of or clarified or anything else like that. So, yep, that's what we do.
Yeah, and they oversee the governance, executive, and compensation committees who do the actual execution of the day-to-day decisions and organization of the co-op.
Yeah, so the way it's been looked upon now is that committees make proposals, for example, for the remuneration of directors and of officers. And then it goes to the director of the cooperative, that's Greg. And when he thinks it needs a board decision, then it goes to the board. I think it works like that. So there's a lot of silence. Is there any subject that we should talk about? Otherwise, we can end up the meeting.
Well, the one thing I wanted to bring up is the 2 discords, which is a good step, I think, in terms of transferring away from Slack. And we now have the main channel, what's it called? The lobby channel of the public Discord bridged with Slack. So that basically means that if you go there, you will not miss anything happening in the community channel in Slack. And there is some questions and things coming, but we seem to have our lobby, which is actually a good word, where people can join a public channel and talk to people, and we can hopefully onboard them into becoming members. And I don't know if anybody else has had any experiences with it, but it seems to be working in the sense that people are complaining about why is there not more activity. And well, the answer is it's all on the member Discord, but at least they have a place where they can contact the co-op via a chat channel and hopefully get more interested. Is Patrick on? Because.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. I have to promote him.
Okay. I don't see him, but if you do.
He's coming.
Okay.
1 minute. Yeah, there he is.
Okay, welcome.
Great that you managed to get in this meeting, Patrick. Probably it took you some effort to get the right link. And I think the mistake is that I used the S in the Zoom link instead of a G. So next time it will go better, I think. But anyway, welcome. And I think you have an awful lot of updates.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for that. It's pinged in calendar with that S. So if we could get that changed to the G, that would be awesome. I also need to just get a new computer. That's a side note though. As far as concrete updates, I'm mostly hashing out the marketing plan and budget, and I've been reaching out to people to be potential contractors. That's basically what I've been spending most of my time with, along with some of that committee work that you guys have been seeing. And then also the newsletter draft that just came out. I put a little less effort into that this week than I wanted to, but it is there, and I would like some feedback on that. After I have a reasonable plan and budget laid out, I'm going to go back through, like I have been doing with GitHub, and organize everything into appropriate projects, establish some first deadlines, and get some of the initial sprints going with the contractors that are available and ready and willing to work. Also, just independently, the next website iteration has taken place, and to Andy's point on translation, I believe Raphael implemented like a one-touch translate this page feature into the new website too. So that's going to be cool that it'll be able to be translated into most languages. I'm trying to think of some other thing. So the identity content is in the works now. We have a meeting on that tomorrow at 11. I encourage everybody to join that. Identity is big, not only for the space in general, but the co-op to get their bearings under, and as well as the holdings company to actually develop the application or interface that's going to use that. Besides that, I'm attending this conference that's going to be going on this week, so I might be less available. It's in St. Pete. It's called Et Cultura, and that's I'm going to be speaking and networking, and I'm essentially the blockchain guy or the cryptocurrency guy, so should have some connections there. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, mostly for me, it's been about finalizing this plan and then reorganizing all the GitHub projects, getting at least the first team in place, and then hitting the ground running. It's all focused on it's all centers around obviously the website, content marketing, community development through meetups, and the way those two interrelate. So yeah, that should be cool. Sorry, it wasn't more in depth this week, guys, but yeah, definitely a lot going on.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of great stuff on GitHub. Set a good example for the rest of us.
Yeah, I try. Sometimes I feel like I'm bothering some people too. Like I've been telling people I've been diverting people back to GitHub too. Yeah, it's going to take this initial effort for us as drivers to, overcome the learning curve and use whatever we choose as a project management system to just drive that and do the manual effort of organizing, figuring it out, and iterating on that. And then when it's time, we also have a governance meeting tomorrow at 1, Jim, when it's time to, and probably in that meeting tomorrow is when we'll be able to do it, is take all that, put it onto the social ledger experiment. And then you're also going to see me and hopefully a bunch of other people drive that just as much as I'm trying to drive the project management on GitHub. So yeah, it's just in the beginning, it's just a manual effort to overcome the resistance. You just got to barrel through and just keep working at it.
Well, that's a great update, Patrick. And could you tell a bit more about the translation? Do you have contact with Branko and Mervin, etc.?
So sorry, my computer's lagging a little bit, but what I do have is I'll just share the issue. Again, I'm gonna just funnel everything right back into GitHub. I'm gonna share the issue where it's actually Raphael, who is Rafcraft, on GitHub, and it was like his story is amazing. He's another example of like just what acting autonomously will do, and him. So my computer's lagging right now, but there's an issue within the website coordinations project, which is project number 8, and it's called the RChain.coop revamp, and he just published his second or third iteration on it, which includes the about page and also the option to translate. So now when you click on the website, it asks you if you want to translate in your native language. That's essentially what it is. But what Andy, who's at Sports Shark, is also hopefully going to be doing, and I'm talking to him to get it figured out too, is continue with the Chinese community development and also translating of white papers and newsletters and some of the things that aren't specific to the website, so that we can continue to develop communities internationally. Does that answer your question? My computer's lagging bad, so otherwise I would share the issue, but it's in website coordination, which is project 8, and I believe it's called RChain.coop revamp or something like that. There's only a couple issues in that project at the moment, and also for Christmas I'm gonna get a new computer, so this lagging problem won't be around for long.
Yeah, so you have the idea that the people who can do translation, that they work together.
Yeah, and mostly we just funnel through the project management systems. So if everybody, like if all the people that want to do translations are on the newsletter issue or they're on the website issue, then they'll be able to just autonomously be like, okay, I did the translation. I think it's more about just getting some sort of roles and responsibilities kind of outlined, and then just getting them on, everybody in sync on the correct project management. And then however they choose, like Raphael and Valeria, they work pretty independently right now. We have a couple meetings, but it's actually really inspiring, because they just, like, I just got the update this morning. It was like, hey, we did X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, sweet, yeah, it's awesome. And then they update it to the GitHub. But yeah, so without digressing too much, it's about knowing what you want to do and then knowing where to find that type of content. So it just goes back to the using GitHub as a project management.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So
Well,
if you're out there and you want, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you're out there and you want to do like translation type work, for one, the website's most likely going to have that click to translate option. So we don't really need manual translations, but we definitely need or could use, content to be translated, such as the white paper and the newsletters and stuff. So I think that there's an independent GitHub issue for Chinese translation specifically that Andy Sports Shark created, but we could do one that's more general of like translation of white paper, and then the people can go in there and say, all right, I'm going to take French, I'm going to take Chinese, I'm going to take Russian. But then also you can just go to the content, like the newsletter issue, and which Andy did autonomously, and he said, when this is done, I will translate it into Chinese. So that's like perfect for me. Or the FAQ, anything like that. I would just go to where the content is. And if you've decided I'm going to be the translator, go to where the content is. And I'm going to work on organizing all the GitHubs so that it's very clear. And then you just go and you translate it and say, hey, I did that. This is the budget, and we go through your reward system.
Yeah, so I will share my screen for the projects. So here there's a lot of projects, and like website coordination probably is that. I didn't look into it, but seems to be. Let me see. Website coordination, what it is. All right. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I think we have to. I am going to focus more on these projects and see what I can do with it. Yeah. Well, I think it's been a wonderful meeting, and I think we can stop here, and unless somebody else has to say something important before we stop. And I think we will see each other then in the next meeting of Greg.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
See you there.
Thank you, Patrick and HJ, for holding up the fort.
Okay. Wonderful. Bye. Cancel.